Guys? Welcome to this latest episode of the Mufasa Sports Club. Again, thank you so much for all the support that you guys continue to show to the program. I truly appreciate it. We continue to grow organically, and I'm really grateful for that. So please continue to subscribe. Keep on liking the videos, sharing them within your people. Let's continue to grow this channel together. NBA is right around the corner, so we are going to start wrapping up some more on the season previews of some of these teams. And today we are going to focus on the Houston Rockets, the Indiana Pacers, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the Lakers. So we're gonna start with the Rockets, which is a team that I have very high expectations for, not only because of the moves that they made during this off season, but also because of who is running the ship out there in Ime Udoka, who is one of the coaches that I like the most in the NBA. I think he has that ability to get the best out of his players, and they've been doing an amazing job for the past 2-3 years in Houston. And one of the weaknesses was basically getting that go-to guy that you can rely on to get you a bucket anytime you need one. And I think they did a great job by going and finding that guy in Kevin Durant. So, I think Houston is definitely a championship contender this season for me. And they have a very, very good roster. I'm not going to lie to you. I think this is one of the deepest roster, but also one of the biggest roster in terms of size in this NBA. They can literally line up 5 guys that are 6'8" and can handle the ball, or try to put a guy maybe who is 6'6" at point guard. So it's a very good team, a very deep team that I'm super excited about. Obviously the acquisition of Kevin Durant, 2 times NBA champion, to this young roster, to these young guys, and bringing that, not only that veteran presence, but also that go-to guy, that scorer, that killer, is gonna do wonders to this team, providing that KD stays healthy, obviously. But I love what he can bring to that team, next to guys like Amen Thompson, who could obviously be a good playmaker, but also focus on the defensive task. Unfortunately, Fred VanVleet got hurt and is probably out for the season, so I'm expecting Amen Thompson to have most of the ball handling responsibilities. I'm expecting Reed Shepherd, that they drafted third actually 2 years ago, to also take on some additional responsibilities and get some more playing times. So it's really going to be interesting to see the combinations that Ime Udoka is going to have, not only during the regular season but also when the playoff comes, with teams like Oklahoma City that are also pretty big out there, and Denver, and this crowded Western Conference. But Houston definitely has what it takes, in my opinion, to be able to compete, and why not bring a championship back to Houston. Alperen Şengün is expected to take another leap. I call him Baby Jokic, pretty much like most of us do. I think this is a great center who has that ability to be a triple-double machine. He has a great vision, could be an efficient scorer as well. Obviously, you still got guys like Steven Adams who can come off the bench or start some games if you want to go double big with the double big lineup. But I don't even think Houston has any issue with playing big, like I was telling you guys, because they also added a guy like Dorian Finney-Smith, who is still a 3-and-D player, not at the level that he used to be in Dallas, but could still give you productive minutes. Amen Thompson, I already talked about him and how great I think he is going to be. The addition of Clint Capella, a rebounding machine who can come in for 10-12 minutes a game and allow your starters to rest and still have some impacts around the rim, is also a great move by this Rockets organization. I think Tari Eason is still there playing on the contract year. I think he's probably gonna try to play his best to get a good extension. Obviously, Jabari Smith Jr. also got extended and is gonna be expected to take another leap. You still got the veteran presence of Jeff Green, Uncle Jeff out there, Josh Okogie. This is a very deep roster, like I was saying, who can that can really be super competitive comes playoff time, and why not go for a championship? The Rockets are currently had capped at the first apron, and they, I believe, about what, 1,255,000 and 588 cents below the $588. I'm sorry, below the first apron. I'm not expecting much changes on this roster. I think this is probably what the roster is gonna look like, barring any major injuries until the end of the season. Maybe they're bringing, if Reed Shepard is still not providing a good, ball handling addition to this team, maybe they go and get a ball handler, like a point guard off of a veteran minimum contract or whatever. I wouldn't be surprised if a move like that is maybe made. But Houston has what it takes in terms of size, rebounding, shooting, and a go-to guy, a scorer in Kevin Durant, to be able to compete at a high level. And I think they're still going to be very good defensively as well. Wouldn't be surprised if a guy like Russell Westbrook, maybe, who fits that mold of, coming with a veteran minimum contract and try to help them out while Fred VanVleet is out. Maybe they get a guy like that, or another veteran point guard or combo guard who can come and help out there. Aaron Holiday is still out there too and can help with that. So I have very high expectations for this Rockets team, and I'm definitely seeing them being in the conversation for the championship. I am putting them as contenders, as I was saying, probably, hopefully, barring any injuries, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're talking about them very late in the season. So that's pretty much what I have for the Houston Rockets. Very excited to see, like I said, with Ime Udoka at the realms out there and what he can bring onto this team. The next team I'm going to be touching on is the Indiana Pacers, and I think this is going to be a transition year for the Pacers. Obviously, with Rick Carlisle out there, even a transition year would still probably be a competitive team because they so well. It's such an oil machine where they play together and love playing for one another that I wouldn't be surprised if they still, try to compete for a playoff position. But I'm not expecting them to be deep in the playoff this season, obviously, because Tyrese Haliburton got injured, and the departure of Miles Turner as well with the Milwaukee Bucks. But they still got, Pascal Siakam out there, Andrew Nembhard is still there, Obi Toppin is still there, Aaron Nesmith is still there. I'm expecting Bennedict Mathurin to really go out there and take that leap this year and try to prove to everybody that he is that guy. He can be that go-to guy with the absence of Tyrese Haliburton, obviously. Jarris Walker, developmental guys that could definitely use this year, where there's no high expectations on the Pacers, to continue on getting better out there. So I'm expecting him to be in the rotation as well. Jay Huff, who was brought back, would probably have some playing times, as well as James Wiseman, if he obviously stays healthy. They did bring in Cameron Payne, who could have a little bit of ball handling and point guard ability out there to help with the absence of Tyrese. Ben Shepherd is also expected to take another leap there. So still a good roster there. TJ McConnell, obviously, I think he's gonna miss the beginning of the season, but will also come back in and add on to that mix. So still a very good team, but just without your number one player, without your star player, I don't think they will be able, even in a in the Eastern Conference, where there's so many injuries happening, and it's so wide open, pretty much up to grab for anybody. I still think, when it comes to playoff time and going for the Eastern Conference Finals, or why not an NBA Finals, they would still be a little short there. I think a second round exit would be a good target for the Pacers this year, and anything past that would be overachieving, with Tyrese Halliburton out, according to me. Um, the Los Angeles Clippers. That's the next team that I'm gonna be talking about. Obviously, one more thing with the Pacers, when we already discussed that, in the past with some of our videos. This is a front office and an ownership group that just does not like, paying the luxury tax for some reasons, regardless of what the performance is on the floor. That's one of the reasons why Miles Turner was, unfortunately, let go, and they haven't extended him, along with other reasons, obviously. But I think that's one of the main reasons why Miles was let go. So they definitely have the flexibility to make some moves out there, but I just don't expect, Indiana to be very aggressive to bring in some additional talent and try to be as competitive as possible, especially with Tyrese out. They had cap at the first apron, but they got close to 13.5 million dollars, of room to get to the first apron. But I'm not expecting Indiana to be aggressive to do anything there. The Los Angeles Clippers, another team that I really do have high expectations for, in this Western Conference. Also, I think the moves that the Clippers made this offseason, to add on to the surprise that they already were, last year, have just been, very good moves for the Clippers. The addition of Bradley Beal on such a cheap contract, if obviously he can stay healthy, could be a very good, plus for the Clips. Chris Paul as well, coming in and being that veteran guy, along with James Harden and Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, playmaking ability and organizing the offense, whether it's coming off the bench or starting, could be a plus for the Clippers too. I really love that. Obviously, and of course, all of this show is being run by Ty Lue, who is one of the best coaches in this league. So I really love these moves for Los Angeles, for the Clippers. The addition of Brook Lopez is really, really, really great to me, because Brook Lopez gives you, even at that age, still gives you that paint protection. So he's still able to block shots. He's still able to be, a perimeter shooter and give you spacing on the floor, which is something that if it's a Zubac doesn't necessarily give you. So Lopez can still go ahead and, even though he's not a great rebounder, he still gives you that 3-point shooting threat and blocking ability, whether it's coming off the bench or in the double big lineup with Zubac, just like he was doing, in Milwaukee with Giannis Antetokounmpo. So I really love the addition of Brook Lopez to this team, and obviously John Collins, who was also, added to this roster from the Utah Jazz. Collins can also bring you some defense. He can bring you a decent 3-point shooting ability. He can also, rebound pretty well. He's a very good rebounder as well for his size and his position. So I'm expecting the Clippers, given the fact that he was a very good defensive team last year already, with Van Gundy out there as a defensive coordinator, quote unquote. I think they're gonna continue making those strides out there defensively, and the additions of these guys, along with James Harden, Kawhi Leonard. Obviously, there's always a question mark, with Kawhi in terms of injuries, but with guys like that staying healthy and being able to be as productive as they can be offensively, I think the Clippers are definitely into contention, this year also. And that may sound crazy to some people, but the reality of this league right now, as you could see, it was the case these past 2-3 years, is depth. you gotta be 7, 9 to 10 deep to really be able to compete at the highest level in this NBA nowadays. And Oklahoma City showed that to us last year. Indiana showed that to us last year, and I think that's the direction that Ty Lue decided to go, along with his front office. And I think that's the right way to go. I'm looking forward to the rookie Yannick Conan, Niederhauser that they also got in the draft. It's really gonna be interesting. I love this roster for Indiana. You still got Derek Jones Jr., who could be a perimeter shooter, and also your point of attack defender out there. Nicholas Batum is still there. Bogdan Bogdanovic can, come in and bring you some points off the bench and some shooting as well. So it's a very well mixed team that provides shooting, defense, rebounding ability, rim protection with Zubac and Brook Lopez. I really love this roster and Ty Lue as a coach out there, orchestrating everything for the Clippers. And the Clips are currently, they had cap at the first apron. They really have little to no room, with barely being under like $1.2 million under the first apron. So I'm not expecting much out there also in terms of trades for the Clippers. Probably just very minimum moves if needed to be, but I think this is already a very good enough roster to contend, and I don't think they will have to make any other moves. Obviously, like I always say, in any major injuries or issue, they still got to deal with all the noise coming out of this Kawhi Leonard situation, and him allegedly getting some additional money under the table, allegations that were made earlier this summer. Still gotta get that settled, and hopefully being able to completely focus on basketball and competing for a championship again. So that's pretty much what I have for the Clippers in the second year in the new arena. So best of luck to them. The Los Angeles Lakers, that's the last team that I'm gonna be addressing in this episode. LeBron James in year 23, obviously. Luka Doncic, slimmed up Luka Doncic, who lost tons of weight and was able to play in Euro basketball this summer, expected to be the primary focus of this Lakers team in JJ Redick's year 2 as well. Really loving what Luka has been doing so far with the Lakers, and I think him getting a full training camp and obviously also being excuse me, with players that are currently being tailored. The team is pretty much being tailored to him, and him being the number one player on that roster right now. So I'm excited to see what the Lakers can do. The additions, they did some pretty decent addition with the limits that they had. I think getting Marcus Smart was a very smart move, and I love that for the Lakers because obviously he's no longer the Marcus Smart of Boston, but he could still give you that defense. He could still give you that 3-point shot, so he can alleviate a little bit of stress on the defensive end for guys like Luka or LeBron. Getting DeAndre Ayton back in this from Phoenix, from Portland rather, is also a good addition by Rob Pelinka. I think at such a low number, barely for $8 million. I think that was a good move for the Lakers. He brings in that lob threat to Luka, can decently rebound the ball as well. Not a great paint protector like not a great rim protector, but he can still he's very decent at it is what I'm trying to say, and can easily give you 15-20 points any given night if he wants to as well. So I really like that addition to that roster with two savants playmakers like LeBron James and Luka Doncic, giving them so many ammos around them is definitely gonna just be a plus for this team. Obviously, you still got Austin Reeves there. Hopefully, Jared Vanderbilt can stay healthy this season and be an impactful player for the team. I'm sure JJ Redick is expecting more from Gabe Vincent, probably coming off the bench. Jackson Hayes is still there. They still got Dalton Connect, who's coming in this year too. Also, for this team, Jake LaRavia that they got this offseason, also very young power forward, small forward, power forward who can do wonders if given some time. I think he could be a good addition for them. A 3-and-D guy also with good size. So I really like what Rob Pelinka was able to do with the Lakers this offseason. Adu Fierro, who's a shooting guard that they were able to get in the draft, who I was hoping maybe the Sixers, my team, would have been able to get, but they weren't able to get him. So I'm excited to see what Fierro can also bring to this roster on the little time that he might have, and why not? Let's see what Bronny James also can maybe bring to that roster if given time to play. So definitely not. It would take a gigantic task from their two leaders in Luka and LeBron to be playing out of their minds for me to obviously declare the Lakers as a contending team. But I can see them bearing any injuries, being competing for like the 4th to 5th spot in the league, and then from there maybe like a second run exit for the Lakers. It's a team that could be dangerous if these guys are hitting the stride at the right time. And if Luka and LeBron stay healthy and are playing out of their mind, it could be a dangerous team that might be able to have a shot. But I'm not gonna call it for now. I think I still need to see how all this play out together in the first games of the season, the first month of the season, and what JJ Redick is able to do with this mix. And from there, I might be able to change my mind. But for now, that's what I think the ceiling might be for the Lakers, a second round exit eventually. And we'll see if we change that when we see how Luka is performing and LeBron is also performing this season. Lakers also had cap at the first apron and barely have $1.1 million under. Not expecting much out there. Also probably vet minimum contracts if needed be at some point to make some moves around. But yeah, that's pretty much what I have for this episode. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, and please continue to subscribe to the videos, continue to share them, like, comment, let us know what you think about the program, and I'll catch you at the next episode. Ciao.